Welcome to Forever Home channel. On this platform, we discuss all things related to Ghana and Africa. Our real estate company, Royal Consulting Solution, is the foremost location for all your land acquisition, building needs, relocation, and starting a successful business in Ghana. We also provide quality information through our consultation and webinar series. We can be reached at royalconsultingsolutions.com. Come join the trusted source for all your reliable information. Hello. Let's test some few things. Let me know how's the audio and image. My audio was acting up. Like 5 minutes. So please let me know if you can hear me. See, I'm sure. Thank you. I see a bunch of eyeballs here. We're back on regular schedule. So let me know if you can hear the sound and everything sounds good at your end. If I need to increase some decibels. I hear you. Thank you. Thank you for the feedback. That was great. Saturday, most part of the world is Saturday, except if you're in Australia or something like that. I hope all is well. We have a topic today that I do get a bit louder. Okay. Let me do this. Let me see. Is it better? Let me know if it's better. Loud and clear. Thank you, Imano. Thanks for the feedback. Okay, so I do get this question. How long should it take, or how long would it take to finish a project if you are building in Ghana, per se? And is assuming if money was not a determining factor, you can build probably the size of the first house I built. You can get everything done 8 months. That means going at it with good planning, making sure everybody's in line, working 5 to 6 days a week. It can be done. It can be done about 8 months, moving ready, including landscape and everything. But for most of us, it's going to be strategy, right? And I think sometimes we underestimate. The more thinking, the more pre-planning you do, the better execution, right? I always tell people when you get your blueprint or your plan, expect to take about 3 months or sometimes more in looking at it, making some adjustments, and all those things because it's going to help you execute because the goal is efficiency, right? When you are restricted by money, like most of us are, execution becomes very, very important, right? So efficiency becomes very, very important. So you can't be making stuff, breaking them down, taking them, do that stuff. It's just waste. So it's a lot of planning that you have to think about. Now, I would say if you are building 4 bedroom and up in about 3 to 4 years, I'll say you're on a fast track, right? That is a big accomplishment. So if you can do, 4 bedroom plus in about 3 years, 4 years, that's awesome. That is faster than what most people will be able to do. Um, and anything if you can do it 2 years, that is incredible feat. Most people do 5 years and up, right? 5 years and up. And the thing that you also have to factor in too is maybe just because you can do it in 3 years doesn't mean you should, especially if you're going to use all your money, right, to get into these projects, because anything can happen. Job changes, right? Things move around, and you don't want to be house poor, right? You can't, the money you put in the house, you can't go pull it out when you have emergencies. So I always say, um, you know, you get to choose how long it takes. Preferably, get it done within 6 7 years. That'll be on the high end because every year inflation, right? On a good year in Ghana, inflation is about 13%. Okay, I've seen it go from 13% to like 22%. So every year that you build, the next year stretch into it. Um, just make sure that it's going to cost you a little bit more, and it costs you a little bit more, but a little in all the ways, right? So labor might go up a little bit, transportation of bringing the materials to site might go up a little bit, cost of materials might go a little bit, everything else, gas and all this. So they add up, right? So they add up. And so one of the things too, I'm worried a little bit about is with the way the cement prices are going now. You don't want a situation that your builder is actually using less cement because of the cost. Like for example, they give you a quote a month ago, and are you ready to do it? And then they are saying that but prices have gone up, and so they need to adjust it. And then you are saying da 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 no no, and he wants the project, and so maybe to go with the old estimate. Then he has to account for that money. So that money is going to be coming from somewhere, and usually it's not going to be coming from labor. It's going to be from reduction of materials, and that is not good for you, the client. So it's just better to just pay the additional, and then keep and supervise and be vigilant, making sure like things are being done. So that is one thing you have to figure it out. Now there's other things you guys can buy ahead of time. You can buy pretty much everything and store them, except your limitations in cement, how long you can hold them. But granted, you need a secure storing place because people will steal iron rods if they have to. It's not easy to steal, but it can be done. And the wood, the chippings and the sand, I'm not worried about that. The cement blocks, I'm not worried about that. It's just those things. So start looking at those things, but be careful also. Sometimes they sneak in some not so quality iron rods. They mix them in. So this is when people say, okay, Tony, I want to buy my own materials. Okay, but do you really know what you're looking for? Because the quality and low quality now looks very identical. And so I always tell people, listen, let people that knows the material buy them. When you get to finishing, about 90% of all the decisions, what you want is going to be run by the client, right? So you get to, pick tiling, color, style. Um, you get to pick paint colors, furniture. It's like lighting systems, um, all kinds of stuff. So there's ample a lot of time for you to basically, make a ton of decisions. But when it comes in terms of the, like electrical wiring and stuff like that, trust me, if that's not your thing, just make sure the person who's buying it know what they're doing. Because if you get a wrong one, you know how a system sometimes is when it tend to doom sort when the power goes out and it comes on, and the current that is coming fries things and sometimes causes fire. It's happened to me too, right? So these things is about making sure that things are put in place in the beginning, so that when you have accomplished this feat, you can actually take time and enjoy that. So how long does it take? What I care more about is the series of good decisions you make along the way, and to make sure that when it's done, whether it's 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, it is done to exactly how you want it. And that means sometimes you have to have somebody look at certain things to give you another angle of how things are. This question also keep coming up, like, okay, cement blocks, Tony, hose heat, too much compared to Ram F, all that stuff. And I keep going back to my answer is it's not just the material alone, it's a factor of multitude of things: ceiling height, ceiling materials, layout, right? Layout, um, And so the best thing, like, I want you add this is, you buy the land, okay? Go and visit the land, see where the breeze is coming from. Is the house facing east or west? Because sunset, sunrise, that's going to affect that. You got to look at all these things, right? And then if you have the breeze, then ideally you want a big window when you open it. You want air to flow. It's air is flowing, and a way for the air to go out and come in. You're gonna move that trapped, heat in there. You're gonna move it out. And so that is where the layout and the plan and all those things matters. You're in the traffic. You're in a tropic. So obviously they're gonna be heat. But it's the layout. You can build a rump if it's boxed in and you cooking that heat. So think about it this way. Rump rump F is 9 inches thickness of wall, right? So it takes longer for the heat to come from the outside. That also means that when you are inside and you are cooking and there's no airflow, there's not a good layout, that heat is going to stay in there because it's not going to go out. So if you can't come, you can't go out. That's how it is. So the layout is very, very important, right? The layout. And sometimes, the blueprint, you have to do modification as well, too, but sometimes it's not. If you use a qualified building team like us, you can say, okay, we can still make notes and then get things done. All right. I got that question here. We advise wiring be brought from USA and shipped. It depends, right? It depends. So they have, like, I don't feel the need for me to ship wiring from here because my electrician get me the best wire. And so he knows that, and he has his own supplier that he buys from. And it's going to work because he's very good. And we talk about all the security features, CCTV, security features also means the visible and non-visible, and all the things that we need to put into place. He knows every wire that is going to work. Because in the past, I've had some people buy wire here, it was inadequate because of where they are running things to. If you have a big property and you want to have a CCTV on your fence gate and you're running from, so think about, you're running this thing from the master bedroom, which is on the other side at the back of the house. You got to run the wire all the way from there to the CCTV, and maybe you are short, then it becomes tricky. Now, unless your electrician actually gives you a specific type of cable or wiring they need, and then they can say buy this. But other than that, um, you have to figure out what kind of gauge are you going to use. You have to factor in the electrical gauge of the wiring, and what you're going to use. So I think if you want to buy it from here, you have to know exactly what you're buying, and that also goes to not just for that; it's other things too that you have to factor in as well. That it looks like, you know the current, two 110 versus 220 or 240, appliances. The US appliances are more sensitive to voltage fluctuation, right? They easily burn out. And so the worst thing is, you put this kind of stuff in there and then boom is gone. Okay. So if you can get in Ghana and it's quality, buy it over there. People make profit. People support their family. I only take things that maybe I can't get over there, or it's something specific that I need. And that I will run it. If it's anything electronics, I'll talk to my electrician and we're gonna go all this thing. Sometimes I'll send them the component of it, and he's gonna look at it and say, yes, go for it or not go for it. Okay. So heat extractor in terms of, so you mean when you cook and you put that out, or it's just, I've not seen and a heat extractor for the main house. But I also think too is that is even the Kaswa house, right? The Kaswa house in this in December, sometimes it's just hot. It's just hot, but it's not to the extent that it's unbearable. I mean, because if it gets to that point, I run the AC. But in the summer, I remember one time I was there for the summer for like 7 weeks, and I'll probably use the AC like 10 times, right? Because I have some windows I have is 8 by 8 foot windows. So when I open that, I get a breeze, you know. So I think it's more like that's why I'm saying your layout is very important. You want to maximize the airflow. You know, heat is gonna come in. You're in the tropics, it's gonna come in. The goal is coming is going out. Okay, so layout. And even when you cook, yeah, obviously it's gonna bring heat, but you can do a little extend our kitchen somewhere and then just cook most of the stuff in there. But it's just and raise your ceiling height, you know, raise your ceiling height and stuff like that. So I mean a 9 foot ceiling versus 11 foot ceiling. Sometimes it's very difficult to elevate the ceiling height, especially when you have a second floor. So let's say you get a plan and it's 10 feet ceiling height, which would be nice. Most in the West is like 8.5 to 9 feet. And you have a staircase going up. So remember, the rule is for every foot you go up, you must go a foot wide to give the rise and run for the staircase, right? So other than that, what is going to happen if you go up directly? You're going to have a steep stairs, which is not good for safety. Okay, so you have to factor that in. So if you go 1 foot high, then make sure you extend the building. That's what I did for the second build. Is that where the stairs was like on the wall. So I wanted 12 foot. So I went like 3 feet 3 feet wide because the ceiling was 9. So I went 3 feet wide. Okay. So it's just about let me give a few shout out here. Oh, Meldas, yeah, see offshore, Emmanuel Kwe, Nanama, thank you, Hajia, IBC, Eric, thank you. There's this question here says, so this question was related to a flat roof slope. There's a combination when we do the flat roof slope. There's things you have to factor in. There's certain things that works very well here, but also because we're in the heat, when the sunlight gets on that thing, smells and it releases some other chemicals. So you have to factor in. So ideally, um, we live in a place that the raining season is very, very, it can rain very, very heavily, very, very heavily. So the goal is to get the water quickly off of the roof. So that means there have to be some kind of slope, and then you probably also have to have multiple things to use as waterproof or water membranes in there. I don't think just use one thing. So it can be stuff you mix in the cement, and then stuff that you apply after, and then so you apply after before you do your concrete um, cement over it, and then after that maybe do another application because water is so tricky. It can get into places that if air can get in, water eventually will come in. And so it's just about a layer of that. So and sometimes Ghana too, the good thing is like when it rains, the sun comes out, so you want to slope it and get it off, and a bunch of stuff. So the materials, there's about 3 ways that they do it and they use here. So you have to figure out which one is the best option. Okay. So do you have building insurance in place for you? I don't have building insurance. I don't have building insurance. And even If there's a building insurance, would I take it? I don't know. I don't know for the very fact is even sometimes when you have car insurance and it becomes like when you have full coverage, something happened to the vehicle, you go there 3 weeks and then it's a hassle. So so what I did because granted the building, so I'm not in earthquake zone. So granted the building we build it structurally sound, so it's not going to collapse. So then what is the next thing? I'm not in a water zone, so flooding, right? So the next thing that could happen is fire, right? Fire is the only thing that could, you know, technically destroy the place. So that also means that the provisions we made was quality wiring system, putting carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide sensor. I have like every room in the house and both kitchens in the hallway. And then I have fire extinguishers, right? Because unless granted from like a deliberate attempt, arson, somebody actually attempting to set a place on fire, there's enough room for me to, there's enough even fire extinguishers in the house to try to put a fire that start in the kitchen. Because the reason I'm saying that is the carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide detectors are very sensitive, and you got to test them all the time. Okay, test them. You can do like a weekly test and stuff like that to make sure it's active. So if something happens, I'm going to pick up. I'm going to get up right away, and I can still put in fire where I call for the fire service. Right. So so it's kind of like because we don't have insurance, robust insurance like here. Here I don't have to worry about if everything burns down here or covers the lives, uh, the insurance can cover everything else, all the property, and stuff like that. So, and if you don't have it where you live, make sure you have them as well. Okay, Joe, how are you? Ah, uh, yeah, is I've never had this question. Oh yeah, I've never had this question. Okay, but I know what you're talking about. Yes, sometimes, you see, chances are, it's always funny. Um, Nobody wants to build the you know the fence wall or the compound wall that divide properties. But here's a trick. Okay, here's a trick. There's a way you can build it and take about 6 inches into their property, right? Um, but sometimes there is this contention, right? Who's going to do that? And sometimes you don't have a choice, especially because if you want to fence the place and put like fence wire for protection and that kind of stuff, there's no like written law. I think it's just between you and the neighbors. But nobody has offered that. Now with this new property, we are going to see because I have neighbors on both sides. So we're going to see what is the proposal. But if you build it, take 6 inches, right? And stuff like that. Okay, so just work with them, and it's like they might agree, they might not agree, but you know, in the end, you have to make a decision. So the biodigester has limitations. Some of the limitations is how do you dispose of the water to a ground that is clayed, right? So because it's not going to diffuse properly, you can't just put it, you can't just connect it to your neighbors and then that material water is getting there. And sometimes too is not effective. I think the second bit, I'm going on manhole. I'm going on manhole. I'm gonna have two sets of manhole buried, and then I can. What I'm trying to do is when it's time to be collected, the vehicle don't even have to come into the compound, right? They can be outside the property of the community, and still be able to extract. And so this is all the things that I was planning when I saw the land. And I said, okay, if I put a manhole here and I'm going to put a hole about 4 inch circle hole through the wall that goes outside, I'm going to obviously put some kind of metal thing so nobody can be poking and be looking through the house. From there, so all they have to do, they have to put a tube over there. The manhole is going to be there. So I'm going manhole. It's been working for a long time. So this manhole. Sometimes you are limited by space or where to do it. But then if you do the manhole, one of the things you want to think about, run all your other waste regarding water. So your sink and your shower, your sinks and shower should not go into the manhole because that's gonna fill it up very quickly. So you run those to like a gutter, or you can run it outside with diffuse. Okay. Good evening from UK. Chaos. Thank you. So ideally treat it. Okay, treat it first before you do decoration with stonework and stuff like that. So by treat it. Because if you just put a stonework, it's just behind it. But then when it's inside, interiorly, inside the house, how you gonna, you can do, I don't think you can do like wall designs. So it's about treating it. Okay. Treating, and then you can paint and stuff like that. So and that is why I'm saying the assumption is that water may come at any time. So that is why for us we put the provisions in the beginning. Okay. Yeah, yeah. It's kind of like that, right? So it's just one of those things. And even yes, like that I say, even being at the same time is uh, it's like it will, if they can chip in. No, ideally, I think like it would be nice if you can split it, and stuff like that. But chances at certain point, you would just have to cover up the money due. So there's two. So is this is bigger than my suite. Then mine is 32 by 16, so it's close enough. Ideally is the windows will help, and then it's very very difficult to use one AC though, especially especially if your master bathroom is opened, right? If your master bathroom is closed, that's different. Then it's kind of like you have to position the AC that it can get to the widest part as possible. And sometimes you are restricted because if you put it there, the AC is kind of like on top of you, and I'm not a fan of the AC directly on you. So it can be, but get 2.5. You need 2.5 to do that horsepower. Hmm. So so now, so if one way you can do is just you got to slope this thing. You got to slope it away from the house quickly. So then when the moment it hits, it's just flowing through the channels, right? You have to do that because now we have a situation, the house is already built, so you can't really elevate a house. And so you just got to slope that thing, slope it very well, to get it. And you may, laterite is very very good in holds water very well. And so maybe some of the landscape you put some laterite over there. So but you got to slope it well. So if you're new build, elevate, please elevate. Okay. Do you know anything about Kasua stopping registration of land? If so, why? I haven't heard anything. It will be, see, Kaswa. It's interesting because I found out that there's different districts within Kaswa, right? There's Awutasanya East, Awutasanya West. So I haven't heard any moratorium on the whole of Kaswa. So maybe it could be one of the districts in there that there might be contention about the legality of maybe what chief is the legal owner to maybe sell this land. So even within Kaswa, there's a bunch of stuff. But I'm going to find out, Hajia, if something like that is going on, and then I'll let you know. But I know, um, not too far from Kaswa, there have been some land issue. What is it, even last year, 2 years ago? Then there was a dispute. Somebody even got killed, fighting between two families of chiefs. So, but I'll get more info on that. Okay. All right. Let's see. We got more people join us. Let's see. Kwame, thank you, thank you. Okay. So it's just uh pre-planning. Um, Ghana, like I said, I repeat, Ghana is only heaven like if you have planned well. If you plan well, it can be a heaven like. If not, then it's gonna be just like anywhere in the world, whether it's good and bad, right? And so we encourage you to just take care of the details, and building a house and is one of them too. What's the question here? So let's see. I'm trying to do some. So I zoom in, cause approximately. So you zoom in, you have, what you doing? You have, what is it? How is 6 inches black, 8 inches black? You have a mortar about 2 inches, right? So 11 course block work is gonna get you close to about 10 foot, right? 10 foot high. Now, is this a fence wall? I think fence wall minimum 8 foot, max nine. Nine. Because anything more than nine, it looks like a jail, some maximum correctional facility somewhere. Then after that, you can put your wires and that kind of stuff. So the calculation you can do just basically is, and something you have to factor in too is, from the ground level, just know the height of the cement, and then account for mortar, 2 inches max, and then you can just add it up and get a total. Okay. Then you can do that. But so quick rundown. Okay. Plan. Take your time. Take your time. It's not a race. You not compete with anybody. Ideally, make your house unique. The most important thing is that you get to enjoy the house, and make it like a home. Start from a house and make it like a home, and then plan well, knowing that inflation is going to affect things a little bit. And so you have to account for that. And so all this is one. Then the other aspect is finding the right team, right? That has always been the challenge. The challenge has never been people want to build, don't want to build. The challenge has been finding the right team, ethical, honest, people that can deliver, competent, and be able to do that, right? And so that has been the challenge. Um, when you had that, the project becomes much more feasible. I can build a second home from here, not even going to Ghana, because the team is strong and there's a lot of communication. There's a lot of diagrams that I send. I call almost every day. of making sure this, da, 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 da. But I need to be there in certain instances because when I'm there, it's much more efficient. It's much more efficient. And so if that's the services that we provide, right? Um, and like I said, the consultation must, must. You are going to learn a lot. Nobody ever want a refund. I'm gonna give you things that I can't give you here. Things that you have to look at as things, and deal with everything that you need from your water adequacy, your power adequacy, your physical safety adequacy. Because Ghana, you're taking care of your water, you're taking care of your energy, your security, you have some money, heaven, heaven. That's it, right? Heaven. So that you can't get it in the public. You'll get everything, and then you can plan. Where I'll tell you where you should put the money that makes sense. I'll tell you that, listen, maybe the another bedroom is not really important, or maybe it's important because the cost is just a fraction, and stuff like that, because it looks like those of us who have these big homes, if we knew, would have maybe cut back one bedroom or two. Okay. So double glazed window, um, pricey, but ideally that. But also another thing too, we forget is, um, it has to be insulated very well, because um, the thing with Ghana sometimes is, we call it tolerance, right? Specs. And you want the tolerance to be tight. That means the gaps between the holes. If it's a sliding window, right? You don't want, like, quarter of a millimeter gap in there, because that means air can come in. So when you have AC, or AC is going out, right? So you have to think about all those things, because if you can insulate the window well, then the double glass will do its job of keeping the cool in there and keeping the hot outside. So there's little details you have to pay attention to. Okay. Other than that, you can have a double glaze and there's gaps all over there, and you're not gonna get a benefit. It depends. In Cape Coast, so the thing Cape Coast is, you see, Accra can learn a lot from this region. So in Cape Coast, you can go get your building permit. Even if it takes a month, you can get the whole building permit for the duration of the build, to the number of years. When you come to Accra, what they are doing over there, there's no reason they shouldn't be able to give you a building permit, but they play this funny game that, we want to do assessment. So then they give you this temporary building permit, and supposedly it's almost like you have to be chasing them down, for your permit, for the permit that you need to do, because it's a way they can come on site and make money, right? So when I started in Kasua, I got my building permit like 2 weeks. That's And then we just did one in Cape Coast. We got it when we submitted. We got it about a month. But once you go and do the assessment fee via Accra, you get that note. You can start building. I'm still waiting for my building permit. I'm even actually waiting for them to give me the evaluation cost of the house, and I'm still waiting. So in the meantime, I'm building with a temporary permits they gave me. Okay. And so, but it would be nice. It would be nice because they can just employ people, get this thing done. You see, the challenge sometimes is the inefficiencies what breed corruption. Right. So hire more people and then make it mandatory for everybody, which is a mandatory, but then you can enforce it for people to go permit. Because if you go to Ghana, you don't have a month. It should be a way that they can come. By the time you go in the next day, they send assessment team or the engineers look at it within a week and a half, 2 weeks, you should be able to get a building permit. Okay. If I was running that place, that's what I would do. Ah, good. You picked that one up. Yes, it was probably the most stressful part in the whole build, because the you should have seen what I did to the company on it, because the level of incompetency and lack of professionalism was a whole different level. That window took like 2.5 months, you know, and there was no reason it should have gone that. So with this nest build, when I'm doing my windows, I have to be on the ground. So there's certain things I need to be on the ground because I want to be there for the installation, and to make sure that. So it was super super stressful. And I was not in Ghana. If I was in Ghana, it's gonna be hell. But it was super super stressful, and it shouldn't have been, because they were expensive, right? Those windows, like, it's a lot of money, you know. Because I had some big windows too, so it was stressful. So I would say, uh, I'm going to be there for that. I'm not using that company. I'm using a different company. Beach, 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 beach. So, couple of things. Ghana law, from the shoreline to 100 feet, you cannot put any permanent structure. Permanent structure means concrete house. You can put a pool, summer hut, stuff, but you cannot put. So if you buy beach, remember, you know that, right? That's the law. They might enforce it, they might not enforce it, but that's fine. That's the law, right? Then also too, then you got to decide. You got to deal with it. The moisture, the salt in the air, right? How you gonna deal with that? Corrosion, right? So that means that you have to figure all these things, and it's a challenge. You might have to use different materials, right? So that's a challenge. Um, that's why I personally would prefer being by a lake in Ghana than an ocean, right? But 100 years from now, based on the data that I saw many years ago, global warming, we're going to lose some shorelines, okay? Shorelines. So you have to factor that in too, okay? So you have to factor all this thing that is going to cost you a little bit more money in terms of material, because you have to use different. Even galvanized is still going to rust, right? It's still going to rust. All things rust over time, and so you have to factor all that in. It's a combination of things. That's actually a great question. Is, like, for example, it's easier sometimes, right? They already have relationships to get some deals. The issue sometimes though is the other side could be, they make deals, they can inflate the prices too. That also happens. But the other thing is this: for us, if we go by the product and it doesn't work, we are not coming to you say give us money to go buy another product, right? But if you go buy these products, we don't know where it came from, and we did installation well, but the product is defective. That was your product. So that is one of the things that we see. If you go buy some iron rods that's low quality, and we tell you that these iron rods are low quality, if we say we should do it, chances are we're not going to do it. But somebody's going to do it, right? And so what I'm saying is that you, the client, will get to a position that you're going to pick a bunch. You're going to pick all your appliances. You're going to pick all your accessories. You're going to pick all your ACs. You're going to pick you this. But when it comes to the material, because Ghana, there's everything in there, just like anywhere else, um, the quality variance, and you may not be able to understand which one is good. And that's why I always tell people, listen, don't be always looking at the numbers, because you can say one city, two city here. Because especially when you're doing structure, you want to make sure that the quality. Like, when I get a quote for materials, I'm not nip fighting over the materials, right? Maybe I can say labor, let's, that kind of stuff. But the materials, you want the right appropriate materials to be used. It's very, very important. At a certain point, you can play and go, low quality, mid quality, you can do that. But you want the best cement, the best iron rods, quality sand, chippings, and the best workmanship. You want that. So when you're done with structure and everything like that, then you can do that. So it's much more easier. It's much more easier. And also too, sometimes too, because they have developed this relationship, they're able to get a little bit discount as well, right? And stuff like that. So these are some of the reasons why they don't. Okay. Well, you could actually do that, right? You could actually do that. So I've seen, because sometimes in the West, like where I am right now, because of the snow, right? So obviously you can't just put the roofing system, right? You have to put a lot of underlaying, with some as waterproofing and stuff like that. But even the underlay, you also want air to go through that, because other than that, it snows, it gets super cold, the ice is going to kick over there because there's no airflow over there, and then eventually it's going to get into the ceiling, right? So, but I've seen some that they'll put a board before they put aloe zinc on top of it. That will help with some of the heat transfer, and stuff like that. So, and so you can do that. But the thing sometimes in Ghana is this is we are used to doing certain things and we just do them. So sometimes you probably have to be on the ground and say, okay, I know this is how you guys do it, but this is my house. I want you to do, use an underlay or something like that, right? You have to be on the ground. If you are telling them from here, sometimes they don't even know what you're talking about. So you have to be there and move them towards that direction. But I can see that helps when to mitigate against some of the heat, because think about it, the heat is going through the aloe zinc and is penetrating that into the attic, and that heat is trapped in there. And depending on the ceiling material, that is going to transfer downwards. Okay. And stuff like that. So I think that will help a little bit. Okay. Wow, almost an hour. Give 5 minutes. Yeah. So West Africa, similar, right? So you can go there and do that. Now, way back, some of the roofing system we were using nails, which was a bad idea, because then the nails would create holes and then water eventually find around because they're not sealing them. So now they have these hooks, that interlocking system that they use, and that kind of stuff. So also you can work on that. Too many. There's a bunch of stuff. There's Dangote is good. There's the one from Turkey's. There's another gas someone that's good. Sierra 42. Is good. So we right now there is you know the good thing is that there is competition. There is options for the cement. Hopefully there's more so they can help us with our build. But there are some good ones. So you have the cement, then so you have the material. So let's say you have quality material, then the ratio must come in, and then workmanship to tie everything. So it's a series, and I would say no one major decision is going to be, or it's going to be a series of good decisions. Okay, and to get an outcome. So when you do that, and I say it's worth not taking corners. It's just worth not taking corners. Okay, you go to a situation with there's a crack from the top of the house all the way to the ground, and it doesn't look good. So planning is going to help you execute, right? And and and, and like I said before, you're not in competition with anybody. Doesn't matter whether on YouTube, whether this thing. You are A, you want to go to B, find somebody that can really, really help you from A to B and deliver what you want, and it doesn't matter if it's 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom, 5 bedroom, 400 rooms. It doesn't matter. It's just doing that within reason, but doing that that is going to meet what you build for now and future, right? And so I think the oldest of 10,000, 15,000 square foot, I think eventually is gonna. I don't think it's a need um anymore. So no money could go some places and do something. Okay. All right. So thank. All right. Unless somebody has one more question, I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you. Subscribe. Click the like button. Share the videos. I know I try every day to put some content here to help you take some. Once you don't like, throw it away. But hopefully, I'm also trying to tell you that everything tell you I do. I will never give you any information I don't do. I would never do that. So um, that is the way it is. If it's working for me, I would say, hey, this is working. If it's not working, it's not working, right? And so hopefully, I try to lead by example in what I'm trying to do and stuff like that. So, and you are no different than me. You want more. You want to be better. You want to be able to pass something on for the next generation and stuff like that. So it's just, hey, it can be done. It can be done. Nothing. I don't have impossibility in my life. Nothing. Nothing. Everything can be executed with planning, discipline, and dedication. Okay. And so, thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this thing. So update. I'm at lentil level. They cast it yesterday. Next week they're gonna start building to the desirable height. I wanted a 12 foot. I don't think I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get about 11, 7 inches. That's fine. I can live with that because I'm doing flat ceiling anyway. So that's perfect stuff like that. So because I didn't want to go beyond 12 feet. Okay, I'll take this question and then we'll be over. So this will be the last question. So there's a couple of things that you have to do. Sometimes you have to do the borehole because let's say you want the borehole to be the back of the house, right? So then what happens is if you start construction, the vehicle cannot go to the back of the house, right? So that means you got to do the borehole. But then other than that, if you're going to be like doing one project a year, then it's kind of you can wait because buying water is not a lot. Because maybe you dig the bowl, then there's a lot of salt, then it's not even good, it's not even usable for you. So that is why you have to do the testing first. So there's a lady we're building for, we have to do the borehole because once we start project, there's no way we can get to the back because it's already fenced in. And so it's a little bit tricky, and stuff like that. So, but it's not right and wrong. It's just what is it that is leading you to want to do the borehole first, because you can get a water out and it may be very very salty, right? And you don't want to use that in your mortar mixing. You don't want to do that, right? And stuff like that. So it depends, right? It depends. But eventually, if you want to use the borehole, you always got to treat it. You got to get a water treatment system, reverse osmosis. That's going to cost you on the low end 10,000 cities and up for about 5,000, 500 gallons. I think 500 gallons a day. Yeah, for that. Okay. So anyway, thank you everyone. Thank you for watching. Click the like button, share the videos, and then I'll get something. I said I was gonna go. I'll take this and I'm done. Okay. This is a whole topic. But go on our website, look at some over there. There's 10,000. There's 30,000 plants over there. Get some idea. I've had people brought plants to me from Ghana, and they were in the same thing, fight it. I said, listen, how much? I said, I know you've paid him, but I said, I'm telling you, man, donate. That's a donation. Just go here and find something that's going to work for you. Because the worst thing you want is to live in a house that your heart is not in it, but you feel like that is what you got. You're not going to enjoy the house. So I always tell people the blueprint is magic. Um, our Ghanaian architects need to step up, please. Right? Need to step up and not giving us slightly better of what we grew up with. And so the blueprint is fair game. Go anywhere, anyone that's going to deliver something that you are going to love. Okay. If they can do it in Ghana, great. If they can do US, great. If they can do UK, great. It's your house. Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate you on everything. Thanks. Bye bye.